Hello, I'm Simon Adebisi and welcome to highlights of the 2012 Formula SimRacing World Championship. Round 7 is the Korean Grand Prix, set around the recently built Korean International Circuit. The Herman Tilke designed track has been likened to the Hungaroring, with the middle and final sectors featuring a continuous flow of corners that demand the utmost concentration from the drivers. The track also features 3 very long straights, providing ample overtaking opportunities for the cars. Qualifying saw a surprise pole position going to Estonian Ivar Kalamäes in only his 3rd WC start. Dejan Kostadinov would join his sister teammate on the front row, and Rasmus Tali came in 3rd, achieving a fantastic result for GT Amiga Racing and RS Evo. Peter Burlak pulled a good result out of the bag for Twister Racing to qualify in 4th. Philip Puška set the 5th fastest time for Go Speed Racing, and Yannick Lapchan continued his strong qualifying form to take 6th. Marcel van der Linden, the latest driver to compete for the RC France Racing team, qualified in 7th. Netrex driver Gergo Baudi achieved 8th place, and Faster Than Speed's reserve driver Zoltan Chudi impressed with a 9th position. Despite limited testing, Patrick de Wit was just able to put his MacCore car inside the top 10. Twister driver Mohammed Patel made it into 11th on the grid, and driving in his first WC race for 2012, Cyril Verdmuller made 12th for Precision Motorsports. Jon-Erik Saxon could only manage 13th place, with Mark Orbitz setting the 14th fastest time for Ash Racing. With Morgan Moran sadly unable to participate today due to personal commitments, Bono Huis elected to start from the rear of the grid. It was a special day for the Argentinian outfit Faster Than Speed, with the team celebrating their 200th World Championship start. Led by Christian Smirnoff, since its inception, Faster Than Speed are the only team to compete in FSR since its very first Grand Prix way back in 2001. To the race start, the top 3 cars had an equal launch, while Puška got the jump on Burlak for 4th. Down into the first turn, Tali and Kostadinov made contact, and they both ran wide, allowing Puška to slip up the inside. Down the long straight, and Kostadinov had now dropped behind Burlak, though he challenged the Croatian into turn 3 to retake his position. Further behind, Baudi broke a tad late, and there was plenty of tyre rubbing among the midfield, though fortunately everyone maintained control. Into turn 4, Tali made a very aggressive attempt on Puška, the pair making contact with Tali taking over 2nd place. More contact was made as Puška made an attempt on Tali's inside on the following corner, but this didn't work for the German and allowed Kostadinov to get alongside. The pair then proceeded to drive alongside all the way through to turn 9 before the Bulgarian seemed to get ahead. But taking the defensive line, Kostadinov compromised his exit, allowing Puška back alongside before the Go Speed driver eventually got back into his place. At the end of the opening lap, Ivar Kalamäes was comfortably in the lead. Rasmus Tali into 2nd, Puška 3rd, Kostadinov 4th, and Peter Burlak had dropped to 5th. Baudi's difficult start had him down into 10th. Patel had dropped into 14th, and Bono Huis had made a cracking start, taking 6 positions, now up into 13th place. Burlak continued to struggle somewhat, losing 2 places into turn 3 to Yannick Lapchan and Marcel van der Linden. Meanwhile, Huis continued to move up quickly, passing Jon-Erik Saxon into the opening corner, and then teammate Cyril Verdmuller for 11th place. Patrick de Wit then made a move on Zoltan Chudi for 8th place, with the MacCore driver feigning an outside pass before switching back to the inside line and just getting far enough ahead to complete the move. Immediately behind, Gergo Baudi was desperately looking to take advantage of the situation, but he couldn't find any room before he yielded to a challenge from Bono Huis. Chudi then made a mistake running too deep into turn 10, dropping back into 11th behind both Huis and Baudi. Not surprisingly, Huis wasted no time, and he quickly found his way around to Wit with a simple pass, the defending champion now up into 8th after just 4.5 laps. Further up ahead, Peter Burlak found his bearings and managed to retake his position from van der Linden with a simple inside pass. Meanwhile, in the battle for 4th, a simple challenge from Yannick Lapchan was enough to break Kostadinov's concentration, and the Bulgarian ran wide over the curves before locking up into turn 10, dropping him behind Lapchan. Another slip up while getting back up to speed dropped him behind Burlak. Yannick Lapchan now up into 4th position and Burlak back into 5th. Bono Huis then encountered his first real challenge of the day, with Marcel van der Linden in no way interested in giving the Dutchman a free pass. Huis looked to have completed the move through turn 1, but incredibly the RC Racing car came right back at the Precision Motorsports driver, repassing him into turn 3. Weiss then sealed the deal with an inside pass into turn 4. Just up ahead, Kostadinov made another mistake, again into turn 10, locking up and jumping over the curb, handing Weiss yet another place. The Dutchman now up into 6th position. In the battle for 8th, Van der Linden and de Wit began to play, with de Wit making an aggressive pass through turn 4 before Van der Linden came back at de Wit through turn 3 on the following lap. In second place, just behind the race leader, Rasmus Tali made the first move into pit lane, but unfortunately the GT Amiga driver came out with a heap of traffic just in front of him. To make matters worse, a mistake from Tudy in 11th position sent him into a spin, with Verdmuller left with nowhere to go, causing those behind, including Tali, to lose valuable time. With nearly all the drivers on a 4-stop strategy, there was little change to the order through the stops. Ivar Kalamays maintained the lead, now with a much larger gap back to Rasmus Tali in 2nd. Philip Puschka was still in 3rd, and while Peter Burlak just beat Weiss out of the pit lane, the Dutchman easily passed the Twister driver into turn 3 to move up into 4th position. Unfortunately, Marcel van der Linden lost a ton of time in pit lane due to repairing damage he'd suffered on the opening lap, and he emerged way down in 12th position, while Baudi's early stop had worked well, promoting the Hungarian up into 8th, with Netrex sporting a special livery to raise awareness of Pink Ribbon Day, with October being National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Patel had made a great charge, passing Saxon, Verdmuller and Tudy in his opening stint, and was now in a solid 9th place, while Patrick de Wit's 3-stop strategy saw him emerge from his first stop in 10th, just ahead of John-Eric Saxon. Saxon made a move on the following lap into turn 1, but he ran too deep, with de Wit slipping back up the inside. The duo then went side by side through turn 3 with some tyre rubbing between the pair, before de Wit was able to hold off the Finnish veteran through turn 4. Up ahead, Weiss made light work of Yannick Lapchan with a pass into the popular turn 3, and a few laps later he caught and drafted past Philip Puschka to take over 3rd place, and the defending champion had only a 12-second deficit to race leader Ivar Kalamays, with 38 laps still remaining. Tali's 2nd stop again put him in the thick of it, coming out right in the middle of the battle for 9th between Patel and de Wit. While Tali initially came out on top after turn 3, Patel managed to slip up the inside at turn 4 and stay alongside all the way through to turn 6 before coming out in front of Tali. Losing valuable time, Tali would have been happy to see Patel pit on the next lap, and he passed de Wit straight away into turn 1, only to lose the position again through turn 3. The damage to Tali's race became obvious as he only just beat Weiss out of the pit lane, with Tali still unable to get around de Wit. Weiss and Tali had a long side-by-side moment, with both drivers boxed in behind the MacCore driver. Eventually, after much sustained pressure, Tali managed to make the pass through turn 5, giving the GT racer some temporary respite as de Wit continued to defend his position against Bono Weiss. The pair swapped positions on several occasions, with de Wit refusing to give up the position before the MacCore driver eventually made a mistake, running off the track and losing the position for good. Philip Puschka was next in line to tackle de Wit, but he was able to make a pass in just one corner, losing little time. However, Lapchan would take much longer, losing time, and after a messy moment, the Frenchman copped some minor damage to his car. The damage would see Lapchan lose valuable time in pit lane, dropping down behind Burlak and Kostadinov into 7th place. Lapchan quickly attacked Kostadinov through the turn 4, 5, 6 complex, making an awkward pass with plenty of tyre rubbing between the pair. But Kostadinov then stuck his nose up the inside, resulting in contact with both drivers losing time, allowing Patrick de Wit to come in between the two drivers. Kostadinov would have to wait 2 more laps before being able to finally clear de Wit with a pass up the inside of turn 4. In the race lead, Ivar Kalamays was handling the pressure a-okay, and although he had a faster Bono Weiss behind him, the GT Amiga driver was setting a pace quick enough to hold off Weiss all the way to the finish line. Rasmus Tali remained in 3rd, Philip Puschka in 4th, and Peter Burlak in 5th, with Yannick Lapchan in 6th, just ahead of Dejan Kostadinov in 7th. Patrick de Wit's 3-stop strategy saw him emerge from his final stop in 9th place behind Gergo Baldi in 8th, while John-Eric Saxon had leaped ahead of Mohamed Patel through the pit stops. While it looked like the finishing positions had been decided, it became apparent that Kostadinov was having some sort of engine trouble as the Bulgarian was short-shifting down the straights, and as the race drew to a close, he lost positions to Baldi, de Wit and finally Saxon as the RS Evo car slowly began to smoke. Taking a dominating win, Ivar Calamaze won the race in only his third WC appearance, becoming only the third driver to take a win in the 2012 season and the first WC win for GT Amiga Racing. Bono Huis came all the way from the back of the grid in 19th place to take second position, but more importantly, this result has secured the 2012 Drivers' Championship for Huis for the third year in a row. Rasmus Tali was slightly disappointed not to be on the top spot, but he still achieved an important podium place, completing GT Amiga's best ever result in a WC Grand Prix. Philip Pushka brought his Go Speed car home, driving a solid race, taking 4th place, comfortably ahead of Peter Burlak, who was unhappy with his pace, but more than happy to take 5th position. Yannick Lapchan scored some decent points for the first time in a while in 6th place, and Gogo Baldi crossed the line in 7th. Patrick de Wit's 3-stop strategy no doubt caused some headaches for the others in the field, but he was able to finish in 8th. John-Eric Saxon was pleased to score points for Faster Than Speed in their 200th Grand Prix, crossing the line in 9th, and Dejan Kostadanov just held on to 10th place, picking up the final point. As already mentioned, Bono Huis has now taken the driver's crown for the 3rd year running, certainly making an amazing impression in the world of sim racing. Though it must be said that 2012 proved to be a much harder year for the Dutch teenager compared with the previous 2 seasons, Huis has nonetheless continued with his amazing consistency and top form. Morgan Morand was sadly unable to attend today's race due to personal commitments. Jeffrey Rietveld was also absent. Tali's podium placing has greatly boosted his chances at taking 3rd in the championship, while Baldi has lost some ground but remains in 5th place. De Wit remains in 6th position, while Lapchan has moved up into 7th ahead of Saxon in 8th place. To the constructors, and with Precision having secured the trophy at the previous round, the focus now moves onto the lower positions. GT Amiga's brilliant result has almost certainly granted them 2nd in the standings, though it is still mathematically possible for Go Speed to take the silver trophy. Further down, Twister Racing are now just 1 point behind Netrex in the battle for 5th, with Mac Core also in the chase for 5th, just 12 points behind. Faster Than Speed have overtaken Ash Racing, though only by 1 point. The next race will be the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi, and you can watch that race live as it happens at SimRace TV on the 21st of October at 4 PM GMT. And as mentioned before, October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please support Pink Ribbon Day and cancer research. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I'm Simon Adebisi, and we'll see you next time for the penultimate round of the 2012 Formula Sim Racing World Championship.